Hello friends, how is it going? It's me, Betty Jean. In today's video, I'm doing my monthly reading wrap up. Get ready with me. I'm gonna be doing my makeup. I'm playing with something new, the Wicked Widow Beauty Lovesick. You'll see more of that later. And I'm talking about all 13 books that I read in the month of January. As always, it'll be as spoiler-free as possible. We're just gonna hang out, have fun, talk about books, play with makeup. It's gonna be a fun, cozy time. I just love our little group, you watching, that loves makeup and loves books, and we just chat about it, and it's so much fun. I love hearing about what you've read lately. I love hearing if you've read any of the things I talked about. I always love hearing your suggestions because I'm always adding books to my want to read list, so feel free to add suggestions of things you've enjoyed lately. But yeah, we're gonna get into it. As far as my accessories, I just have these earrings. They are from the brand Spooky Doodle Club. So yeah, without further ado, let's just hop in, chat about books, play with makeup, and have a good time. Hello, hello, hello. How is it going? We are gonna do our little reading wrap up. Get ready with me. I have already done my brows and I primed with the Skin Smoothie Primer in Hydro Pop from Flower Beauty. And I did also add a little bit of the e.l.f. liquid filter, the Halo Glow liquid filter in the shade 1 Fair. But I think I actually want to add some more because I'm not doing foundation today, so I feel like I just want like a really, I don't know, just nice glowy base. Actually, I think I need more of this. I'm getting kind of low. Beautiful. But I'm just gonna do my makeup, chat about the books that I read. I read 13 books in the month of January. I did not think I was gonna read that many. My goal for the year is 120, so I guess I'm off to a good start. I got to close to 120 last year starting mid-February, so I think 120 is achievable, but you know, it's not a race. It doesn't really matter how many books you read in a year. Even if you read one book in a year, I think that's great. I'm just happy I found my love of reading again, and I have so many books I want to read, so many worlds I want to explore, and I'm excited just to share the journey with you. But I'm going to chat about all 13 books that I read in the month of January. I'm going to give you my just general thoughts, opinions, rating. I'm going to keep it as spoiler-free as possible. If I do talk about any spoilers, I will give you a heads up, but I'm going to mostly try to avoid it. And if I don't mention something that I'm using on my face, I will have it in the description box, but I am just going to start with my concealer combo, the ColourPop Pretty Fresh, and the Rare Beauty Under Eye Brightener. And I guess we should kick it off with book number 1. So the first book I read in January is In the Weeds by B.K. Borison. This is the same author and same series as Love Light Farms that I read back in, I want to say November, that I really, really enjoyed. Well, this is same world, same kind of setting, but instead of it being Stella and Stella's farms kind of perspective, this is through Beckett's perspective. I'd already forgotten his name. Many characters have gone by since I read this book. But he works at Love Light Farms for Stella, so he's there, he's helping out. This story takes place between him and Evelyn. Evelyn is like a social media travel influencer type person. She'd actually visited the farm in the previous book to visit for like a contest, like featuring different travel locations. And she'd recognized Beckett because they'd actually had a one-night stand in the past. Beckett's kind of like a grumpy, lonesome kind of guy, and Evelyn is much more of a boisterous, happy, very sunshine. It's very much grumpy meets sunshine kind of romance. That's kind of the trope you have here. And we're just kind of going through the story, seeing them kind of reconnect. Evelyn stumbles back into town in this story, just because she's kind of getting burnt out from her job, and she's trying to think back to a time when she was really happy, and she really enjoyed her time being at Love Light Farms for that social media contest. So she goes back, she's rekindling things with Beckett. She ends up staying with him because all the hotels are full, and such goes on from there. It was very cute. I still think I liked Love Light Farms more. I just really enjoyed Stella and I don't remember her love interest's name, but her and his story a lot. They were very much like a friends to lovers fake dating. And I liked this grumpy sunshine kind of aspect too. And I really, really enjoyed getting to know Beckett. I thought he was super sweet. And overall, just the characters are super likable. I really enjoy this town. I enjoy this world. And I definitely have a cat hair on my face. And all the pouncing in the world is not going to get rid of it. I got it. Everything is fine. But overall, it was really cute. I'd give it a solid 4 stars. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I'm gonna start bronzing with my e.l.f. Halo Glow contour wand. And it was just a fun time. I'm happy I read it. And there is a third one in the series as well that I will get to later in this video. And there's a fourth one coming out, I think sometime this year. So that's really, really exciting for me. Because I think it's a really cute world. I really enjoy the author's writing style. I like the dual perspective. I like just the way she creates characters and creates a setting. It's very cute, very wonderful. Next, I continued on into the Throne of Glass series. I entered Crown of Midnight. I actually read 3 of the Throne of Glass books in the month of January, and it was a wonderful time for me. Crown of Midnight was so good up until this point that I'm at now, but at the point that I'd read this was my favorite one in the series. This is the second one, not counting Assassin's Blade. That's like the prequel short stories, if you will. And then there's Throne of Glass, and then there's Crown of Midnight. Crown of Midnight's really, really good. Again, it's a series, so I don't want to talk in too much detail. So I'll just be kind of vague. It just kind of is still going through what Selena is going through after book 1, after things with the contest in book 1 kind of like end and things are settling down. It's just kind of what she's doing now at this point after all of that has gone down. Her kind of reconnecting with her past a little bit and discovering things about herself that she didn't know. And again, I can't really say much more because I don't want to spoil it, but I'm really, really enjoying this series. I've found that just as this series goes on, it gets better and better and better. And that's what I've been told. Like I heard that like Assassin's Blade and Throne of Glass are kind of hard to get through, but then once you get past that, it's even better, which I enjoyed Throne of Glass and Assassin's Blade, but I also went into it knowing like maybe they weren't gonna be my favorite books of all time. This one was really, really good. I actually did get this one 5 stars. I thought I didn't get anything 5 stars this month except for my very last book. According to my Goodreads, I gave this one 5 stars. I thought I gave it closer to a 4.5, but we'll stick with the 5. I really enjoyed it. I just love the character development in this world. I'm gonna move on to my blush now, wherever I put it. This one right here. It's in Nearly Rose from Rare Beauty. I'm gonna be filming my Valentine's makeup favorites after this video, so I'm gonna be playing with a lot of pink and purple and cuteness today. But I'm just loving the world building. I'm loving all the characters. There's so many characters in this series. And I mean, thankfully, they don't all get thrown at you from like the first book. Like it's something that kind of builds as the books go on. But there are a lot of characters, and I'm sure I still have many more to meet. I'm only on the 4th, 5th. I think I just finished the 4th one, something like that. We'll get to that. But so many characters, and I'm loving so many of them. I think the story is so cool. It's so immersive. I love Selena. I think she's such a cool character. Just so independent and strong and flawed and just so, so wonderful. So yeah, just overall loving this series. That was one of my favorites of the series up until this point that I finished yesterday. But that's one of the best ones. It was so, 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 so good. By the way, I always get questions when I talk about reading and stuff. I do have a Goodreads that's just battybean. You're welcome to follow me if you want. I don't really like post reviews or anything. It's just for my own personal tracking, but you're welcome to follow me. I just don't really think there's much of a point to. Any details are going to be found in these videos, not so much on my Goodreads. That's purely just for my own personal tracking. I love these melting blushes. They're so good. I just love the way they sink into the skin. They're so beautiful. And I'm gonna be setting my under eyes and stuff with my Halo Glow powder, and then my perimeters with my NYX High Glass. While we move on to book number 3, which was Twisted Love by Anna Huang. I've actually had this on my bookshelf for quite some time. I got this at Second and Charles like last summer on a discount. It was a book that I'd like seen people talk about, so I picked it up and I just had not gotten around to it. And I was kind of nervous too because I've seen very hit or miss things. People seem to either love the Twisted series or they absolutely hate it. So far, I'm actually really liking it. I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel, just because it's not dark romance, at least this one wasn't, but it's teetering on some like questionable things, some like morally questionable characters. But overall, this was a cool story. I enjoyed it. So this is a little romance between Alex and Ava. Alex is Ava's brother's best friend. We love a brother's best friend trope. Basically the brother is going out of the country, I think, for some kind of schooling, some kind of something. I don't remember exactly what he's leaving, essentially. And he's like, my sister is hopeless. She's like college age. He asks his friend Alex, like, hey, can you like just please look out for her while I'm gone? Like, I'm so nervous she's gonna get into some trouble. She has this ex-boyfriend that is no good. Like, can you please just look out for her? So he agrees, and he definitely takes on kind of a possessive nature with her. Like, he kind of infiltrates different like social gatherings she's at if he deems it as like inappropriate, or if he's talking to people that he doesn't think are like safe to be around. He's kind of jumping to action, which again, morally questionable. Like, the possessiveness is a little much, and I wasn't sure I would grow to enjoy him, but I actually did end up growing to enjoy him. I liked watching their relationship kind of form and getting to more of a deeper level. It's very much, again, kind of a grumpy sunshine, brother's best friend kind of trope. I enjoyed her character as well. She's very, very much kind of naive, sees the best in everyone when maybe she shouldn't. She's also kind of going through some childhood trauma where she like almost died as a child, and she has issues with her mother, and there's a lot unraveling with that. There's also weird darkness with Alex's past, and you're kind of starting to learn about that and how everything starts to come together. I actually ended up really enjoying it. Again, toward the beginning, I was kind of iffy. I was like, I don't know about these characters. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna end up liking this, but lo and behold, as time went on, I actually did start to really enjoy them. I started to enjoy the story. I was enjoying seeing where everything went. I was enjoying kind of learning more about everybody's pasts. Overall, it was a pretty fun story, and I'm excited to read the other books. As I've mentioned, I'm on a book buying ban right now just because I want to read some things that are currently on my bookshelf without buying more so I can catch up. I'm on a book buying ban until at least April. And once that's over, I might go seek out the other books because I enjoyed it. I'd like to know some of the other stories because I think she has like 3 other friends. So I think each book is going to be based on one of the other friends. So I'm excited to just kind of see where the story takes us, if you will. I ended up giving it also a pretty solid 4 stars. I ended up really enjoying it, and I do feel the urge to continue the series. So I feel like a 4 star is fair. If you end up starting that book and you're also not digging the characters at first, just maybe stick with it like I did, because I ended up deciding I actually really liked the characters, and I kind of understood why these characters were the way that they were, just given their pasts and stuff. I need a lip mask more than I've ever needed anything. I'm using the Fenty Plush Pudding. I guess highlighter is next, right? Maybe I'll do highlighter at the end. I've kind of been enjoying doing highlighter after my eyeshadow. So I'm gonna spray with my Rare Beauty setting spray, and then we will move on to the eyes and continue talking. We've only talked about 3 books. We have 10 more to go. So before I dive into it, I'm gonna be using my Wicked Widow Beauty Lovesick palette. It's a super cute, super beautiful Valentine's vibe. I think this is actually launching the day this video goes up on the 2nd, I believe at 12 p.m. EST. I'll have the launch details in my description box, and you can use my affiliate code battybean to check out if you would like. But I plan on doing something with this. I already filmed a little Instagram video with this, which should already be up on Instagram and YouTube Shorts by the time this video goes up. But I think today, I really kind of want to play with the lavender. Like, I'm dying to use this lavender. So I'll probably do kind of the lavender with the berry, and I might smoke out this on that lower lash line. And I'll probably just plop this one everywhere because this shade is really, really pretty. And then I think for my face highlight today, I'll probably stick with Meadow from the ColourPop Twilight collection because it has kind of that pinky purple shift, and I am obsessed. So I'm gonna gather my brushes, and then we will move on into book number 4. Okay, so book number 4 was Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. I'd read It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey over the summer, and I loved It Happened One Summer. I think I rated that one like 4.5 stars. It was super cute. The main character was very like Alexis Rose kind of energy from Schitt's Creek, like had to get sent out to this middle of nowhere town in like this little seaport town in Washington to just kind of learn how to be an independent, functional human being instead of being the spoiled, like high society, just running amok, going to parties, causing chaos kind of girl. Her story was super, super cute. I loved it. And I knew I wanted to read the second one at some point, and then I found this one sometime at the end of last year at Second and Charles. And this is through her sister's perspective, Hannah. She is super into music. She is currently working for like movies, like kind of doing like background stuff. And she'd ultimately like to be designing the soundtracks for the movies, but she's very low level at this moment in time. While she was living with her sister during the last book, she'd become friends with Fisherman Fox, who is like best friends with the love interest in book number 1. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was relevant in book number 1. They kind of gained like a friendship, and they kind of kept talking even after the fact. Fox is very much kind of a ladies' man, non-committal. Like he usually goes way out of town, like out into Seattle for his hookup, so he doesn't ever have to see these people ever again. So the fact that he even has this like strong friendship with a woman is pretty surprising. And I mean, as you would expect, they are like secretly developing feelings for each other. They're very much like a friends to lovers kind of trope. But she's finding herself really missing being in that environment. She misses her sister, she misses Fox, she misses that location. That's where their birth father had lived at one point in his life. And they find like just a real connection there. So she ends up going back there. She convinces the movie like team that she's working on that would be the perfect location for the next movie. So they're finding themselves back in this like seaport town and rekindling a friendship. She actually ends up staying in Fox's house just because I think her sister's like in-laws were going to be over or something like that. Like her sister's spare room wasn't available, so she ends up staying with Fox. And it's just like a fun little story about, you know, their love just kind of blossoming, very much friends to lovers, kind of learning to trust each other. But I will say for the most part, I was kind of bored during this story. I thought I was really gonna like it. I thought I was really going to enjoy just getting to know Fox more and getting to know Hannah more. But overall, I just found myself kind of bored with their relationship. And that's kind of sad to say because I usually enjoy a friends to lovers kind of format. I don't know, there was just something about it that was not speaking to me. Maybe it was just the fact that like, I don't know, I feel like they just weren't communicating with each other. Like they just needed to be honest and open about their feelings and just kind of get over themselves a little bit. And it wasn't a bad book. Like I rated it about like a 3.5. Like it wasn't bad. I just felt like there was something missing with their connection. Something that, like there was something I really loved about It Happened One Summer that this book didn't have. And I was kind of sad about that. And obviously it sucks kind of comparing one book to another, but when they're in the same duology, it's kind of hard not to. I was like really expecting to be head over heels in love with this the way that I was with It Happened One Summer, but ended up not being the case. I'm still glad that I read it and kind of got more of that world and that setting and got to know Hannah and Fox a little bit more, but overall didn't end up being my absolute favorite. I don't even remember what the main like plot was. Like I just know that we were getting to know them and their relationship more. I know there's something that went down because there has to be a plot twist somewhere. Literally couldn't tell you what it was. It did not stick in my brain. Not the most memorable read for me, but I'm not mad about it either. It was fine. And then next, I don't physically have it because I read it on my phone through my Libby app, but I had started the Hunger Games series. That was one of my goals for 2024 was to finally read and watch all of those movies because I've never read or watched any of the Hunger Games up until the month of January. So I'd reserved all the books on Libby, gosh, I think back like early December, like whenever the hype for Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes was happening. That's when I joined on Libby because I knew it was going to be a long wait, and it was. I had to wait like a whole month for the first book, and then the others slowly started trickling in. Actually, I think Catching Fire was available first, and I had to be like, no, don't give it to me yet. I'm not ready, give it to somebody else. But finally got around to reading those, and I loved them. I'm not gonna be completely spoilery on these books just because I would love to inspire anyone who hasn't read them to read them. I thought they were really, really good. Even though they're like YA dystopian, I feel like they hold up really good even if you're an adult. But I also do enjoy YA from time to time. Sometimes it's nice to just have a little bit more of a, I don't even want to say simple because it is kind of a complex storyline as far as just like what's happening. It's kind of dark. And honestly, the books I feel like are darker than the movies. The movies do align really well with the books, I have to say. I feel like they're pretty much perfectly accurate, but I feel like the books just delve a little bit darker and a little more graphic with some of the scenes. But overall, circling back, I read the first book. This is just our first book with Katniss. We all know the basicness where there's the reaping, one boy and one girl from all of the 12 districts get chosen to be a part of the Hunger Games, where it's everybody is killing each other until one is left standing. That's the winner of that year's Hunger Games. This is like the 75th or something, I believe, during the first book. And Katniss's freshly turned 12, which is the youngest you can be to be in the Hunger Games, 12-year-old sister Prim gets chosen. She volunteers as tribute. Katniss is in the Hunger Games. So we're just following along her journey of what it's like behind the scenes for the Hunger Games, the setting up, the being a part of it. We are getting to know Peeta, who was the boy selected from District 12. And it was a ride, that's for sure. It's dark, it's pretty sadistic, honestly, with just like the fact that it's even happening, because it's like, why are all these children killing each other? Which you start to understand more of it as the books go on. And I actually just started Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes last night, so I think I'm going to learn a lot more background info. I will report back for my February reading wrap up. But yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed it. I rated it a solid 4 stars. I thought it was super like fun and dark and twisted, and it like was really fast paced. It was really easy to read, and I overall really enjoyed it. I'm just so glad I finally dove into that series. Next up, I read Twilight Falls by Juno Black. This was actually one of the last books I bought myself at the end of the year before going on my ban. I love the Shady Hollow books. These are basically cozy murder mysteries. All the characters are animals. Think Fantastic Mr. Fox vibes. They all like wear clothes, they have little jobs, they have their own little houses. They're like people, but they're animals. And it's very cute, very cozy. These are not like, how do I put this? This is not gonna be like difficult literature to consume. It's very cozy, very easy, very quick. It's fun kind of trying to guess like what happens with these twists and like, what are we gonna do? Our main character is always Vera Vixen. She is the investigative reporter. She is a fox and she's very cute. I really enjoy her, and I like kind of just following along through her brain, trying to piece together what happens in these various books. Well, this is the 4th one. I'd actually forgotten a 4th one was even coming out, and actually a 5th one is coming out at some point, I believe. And I think there's also like 2 short stories that I really need to download on my Libby app and get around to reading. But this is the 4th book. This takes place during springtime. There's drama going on in town. One of the rich beaver heiresses in town is getting all romantic with one of the like basically worker folk, you know, that's frowned upon. I'm gonna take my NYX glitter primer next. That's all taboo. That's like big news right now in this town. Well, Vera goes out on a trip to Twilight Falls. It's beautiful, it's wonderful, all is great until we see a mysterious fight happening at the top of the waterfall. We see not only this mystery character in the shadows that we can't quite make out, but we see Jonah Atwater's father. Jonah's the otter that is forbidden from being with our beaver lady. It's so funny to try to describe this story. But we see his father get pushed off the top of the waterfall via this mystery guy in the shadows. So this becomes a whole thing. We're trying to figure out who done it, who pushed him, where's the body, all these things. So it was a pretty fun story. I will say this was probably my least favorite out of the 4 so far, just because I found the story to be very easy to predict. It wasn't anything super crazy. It was, I predicted it pretty early on, which I mean, I feel like, again, these aren't very like hard books by any means. I feel like for the most part, you can kind of predict all of them, but they're cozy and that's what's fun about it. They're really easy reads. I literally read this on my plane ride to Boston, which is not a very long flight from Florida. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was cute. Overall, I feel like I can't give these books more than like a 3 or 3.5 star, just because they're nothing profound, but they're cute and they're cozy and I love them. And I don't think they'd be for everybody, but if you want just like a cozy murder mystery kind of series to dive into, these are definitely the one. And I just love the artwork on these. The covers make me so happy. I mean, the reason I bought the first Shady Hollow book in the first place was just because the cover was so cute sitting on a table at Barnes & Noble. So that says something. Next, I read Mixed Signals by B.K. Borison. This is the 3rd one in that Love Light Farms trilogy. And I think I mentioned earlier, but there is a 4th one coming out at some point. I'm already really liking this look, but I just really want to smoke out this lower lash line. So I'm just gonna go in with my black eye pencil really quick. But yeah, there is a 4th one coming out at some point and I'm very excited for it. I'm excited to see what goes down because I just want to get to know more and more of these characters and see more and more of this setting. It's so cute. But this is through our character Layla's perspective. She is actually the baker who lives and works at the Love Light Farms location as well. Like her, Stella, Beckett, they're all great friends with each other. Their friendship is honestly just so cute. I love it so much. But she is basically going through it. She is trying again and again to go on dates with people and find a connection, and they're all just like such bad dates. Like right at the beginning of the book, she's on this horrible date with this horrible guy and she's just losing her mind. But then she runs into Caleb while at the restaurant. He's kind of like a regular who pops into the bakery here and there. He's super sweet. I loved Caleb with my whole heart. Like what a golden retriever kind of guy. He basically like comes to her rescue, so to speak, not like in like a come with me, let me help you out. Just kind of like a, do you want to ride home? Are you okay? And then they decide to form this kind of alliance. He feels like he's bad at romance. He feels like he's bad at dates. He never gets past like a second or third date with anybody. So he feels like something's wrong with him. And he also hates the fact that Layla keeps going on these bad dates. Meanwhile, he secretly has a big crush on her. So he kind of comes up with the idea to basically date each other for a month or so. He wants to show her some really fun times while she can give him pointers on basically how to be better at dating. And of course, through all of this, they're gonna fall for each other. That's what you expect in a romance. But I really enjoyed watching their love kind of blossom. I enjoyed their kind of, I guess like strangers to friends to lovers, because they were basically just like loose acquaintances through the bakery and became friends and then became lovers. And it's very cute. Caleb is so sweet and I loved his family and I just loved everything about him. And I thought they were just such a cute, cute, cute pairing. I think I liked that one pretty much the same as book 2. Book 1 was still my favorite, but I really liked this one as well. Again, probably a solid 4 stars. I really didn't read any bad books this month. Honestly, my least favorite one was the Hook, Line, and Sinker, I think, by Tessa Bailey, and even that one wasn't bad. It was just my least favorite. I'm also really liking all these purpley pink moments going on. I think this is super cute. Moving on, I next jumped into Catching Fire through my Libby app on my phone. And I loved it. This was my favorite one in the entire trilogy, movie and book. I just loved Catching Fire so much. They're all through the perspective of Katniss, of course. And this is just basically what takes place right after that Hunger Games that she was in. What's going on with her and Peeta? How did we get to this point? Is there a rebellion starting? What are we gonna do about it? Getting thrown into more fighting, meeting other tributes. Again, I wanna be kind of vague because if you've never read these, I think they're really, really fun. But yeah, I loved this one. I felt like it was really unexpected. I wasn't really sure what was going to happen next. I wasn't really sure why anything was happening. I wasn't sure of any of the turns it was going to take. And then the cliffhanger it leaves you on was just nuts. And it made me very thankful that the books and movies already existed because I could just jump right into the next one. It was a really, really good time. I enjoyed it a lot. Overall, again, like probably a solid 4 stars, maybe a 4.25 since I did enjoy it the most out of the trilogy. But yeah, again, really fast paced, really easy to read. It was fun. It was exciting. Overall, I really, really enjoyed it. It was just such a fun trilogy. And then continuing on, this big boy right here, Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas, continuing on the Throne of Glass series. Again, I have no choice but to be vague because I do not want to give spoilers. I went into this series pretty blindly, other than the fact that I've already read ACOTAR. So like I was familiar-ish with Sarah J. Maas and like her world building and stuff, but honestly, this is so different than ACOTAR. I can't even like pick a favorite as of right now between the two just because, I mean, I'm still only like just over halfway through with Throne of Glass, but ACOTAR is just so different. ACOTAR is so much more romantic-y, whereas this one's a lot more high stakes. Lots of fighting, lots of death, lots of despair, and I'm loving every second of it. It's so cool. But Heir of Fire, I mean, we still have Selena going on. We have honestly a lot of different perspectives in this book. This book honestly took me a second to kind of get my bearings with it because right off the get-go, we're kind of switching between like 3 different things that are happening at the same time. Like we have a bunch of different perspectives. It's all in third person. So it's kind of just bouncing around to where all these different characters are at and what they're doing. And just going along their individual journeys. I don't even want to name names because I feel like naming names gives spoilers to stuff. But everyone's kind of doing their own thing. Everyone is discovering different things. Selena's learning so much more about herself. And the people back at the castle are trying to kind of like resolve these mysteries. And then we have our witch clan and what they're up to. It's just, it was cool. It was exciting. Again, it took me a second just to kind of figure out what was happening because there's so many different things happening. But it was so good. Once it like really once I got through like probably the first 100 pages, I was like, okay, I get it now. And then once I got to like the last probably third of the book, I was so invested. I was like, I need to know what happens. I need to know how all these characters like reconnect again. I just need to see where the story is going to go. I was feeling super anxious in the best way possible. It was such a cool story. I loved. Again, it still wasn't a 5-star. I guess Crown of Midnight, according to my Goodreads, was a 5-star. This one was more like a 4.5, just because I wasn't super invested right at the get-go because there was so much going on. But I ended up really, really loving it. And I was so looking forward to diving into Queen of Shadows right after. But I did take a little break off of that. I felt like I needed a couple palette cleansers before jumping right into it again because these are like really hefty books. So I next read Mockingjay because I was also really itching to read this book so I could watch the movie. And it was a really good conclusion, I feel like. It was my least favorite. I just felt like it was a lot of, I don't know, just like rebellion, war, like very scene setting. The first third of the book, I was kind of not invested, and then it picked up a lot more once like Peeta and Katniss got brought back together. And I liked the way everything ended because it ended kind of sad. Like, I mean, it ended the best way it could, but it's still sad just because, I mean, it's war and rebellion, you know, there's bound to be sadness involved with that. But overall, it was good. It was just my least favorite book and movie. Well, I mean, I guess the movies were part 1 and part 2. I'll just lump them all as one thing. I liked them. If I had to rank, I'd say 2, 1, 3. That's how I would rank them. But again, solid 4 stars. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good trilogy overall, and it made me really, really excited to dive into Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which again, I started last night. So I will be working on finishing that over the next couple days. And where's my highlighter brush? There it is. And then I will watch the movie at some point, and I'm very much looking forward to it. That's a February task for sure. I'm only like 20% in so far, but so far I'm liking it. I feel like we're gonna just get so much background info. I'm very worried though that I'm gonna be very sad at the end of it just because, I don't know, it takes place in the past, so I'm like, things can't possibly end well, you know? It's way in the past. It takes place during like the 10th Hunger Games, whereas this one was like the 75th. So things are not looking up for a while, and I'm nervous, but I'm excited at the same time. This highlighter is just so cute. I love it so much. All right, but moving on while I do my lashes, I needed a romance. Like, I just needed something cheesy and fluffy to break up all of the fantasy and dystopian that I'd been reading. So I read Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I wasn't sure how I would feel about that one. It's like a campus setting hockey romance. One of our main characters, Anastasia, she does like figure skating, and our male counterpart, Nate, he is a hockey player. I think he's a senior and she's a junior, if I'm not mistaken. I actually really liked the campus setting. I don't think I've really read any books thus far that take place like on a college campus. And I kind of liked it, especially because I didn't really ever have that experience growing up because I just went straight to cosmetology school and started my career right after high school. So I never like went to like real college and like lived in a dorm, which maybe is for the best. I probably wouldn't have liked it, honestly, but it's fun to read about since it's not something I ever experienced. But basically there is chaos happening amongst the ice rink. Basically the hockey players' rink got sabotaged, so they now have to share the rink with Anastasia and her skating partner. So they have to kind of like take turns like using the rink and stuff. Her and Nate have to cross paths many times for this reason. He's the captain, so he's kind of the one she has to talk to about things. They really, really don't like each other at first. Like, I wouldn't say enemies to lovers, but I feel like it's more like Grumpy Sunshine, except she's the grumpy one this time. She's very high-strung, very type A, very planning oriented, and that all just kind of got thrown out the window when the hockey rink had to get moved to her rink. Some issues arise with her skating partner, so she ends up needing Nate to help her, and they end up forming a friendship. Obviously a romance forms. I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really cute story. I really ended up loving Nate. I thought he was such a nice character, like just so thoughtful, so sweet, so caring. Both of them have had like relationship trust issues in the past where like both of them are very non-committal. So it was really cute seeing them kind of like break down those walls with each other. And overall, I really enjoyed it. I have the next book already, Wildfire. I bought both at the same time, which is very unlike me. I don't usually do that if I've never read from an author or from that specific series before. Like after I'd read Love Light Farms, I bought the next 2 books because I loved Love Light Farms so much, but I don't usually do that with something that's unknown to me. Like I've never read a hockey romance before. I didn't think I'd be into it, but no, I liked it. I mean, it wasn't so like hockey focused that I felt like I was watching a hockey game or something. I'm just not a sports person. But I just overall liked the setting. I thought the setting was cool. I ended up giving it like probably a solid 4 stars. I don't think I'd give it like a 4.5. It wasn't like even close to a 5-star for me. But I feel like a 4 is fair. And I'm excited to read the next one. It's through one of the other hockey mates' perspectives, Russ. And I'm really excited to get to know him more because the little bits I saw of him I really enjoyed. I thought he was such a cutie. And I'm excited for more. And I think a 3rd one's coming out at some point this year too. So that's all very exciting. I thought it was cute. And it's pretty much exactly what I needed in the moment. I just needed something fluffy and easy. I will say this was too long. This is like 460 pages. Maybe not 460, I might be exaggerating. 430 pages. It definitely did not need to be more than 350 in my opinion. I feel like it was a bit too long for what it was. But I still ended up really enjoying it. I enjoyed just kind of getting to know all these different characters and just seeing different things unravel about everything. It was cute. It was fun. So I always put like my black lash glue on my lashes itself, and then I take my clear one and line like right against my lashes as well. And then I wait like a solid 2.5 minutes or so, and then I stick them. And I feel like it like sticks together so well when I do my fake lashes like that. 2 more books. Next was Curse of the Wolf King. This is part of the Entangled with the Fae series. These are all Beauty and the Beast retellings, but with a Fae twist. I'd gotten books 2 and 3 as a Secret Santa gift, so I bought myself the first one. And it was cute. You don't have to read them in order, I don't think. They're all like kind of standalone, but I typically like to read things like in order if I can. But this was fun, especially if you like fairy tales, like Disney type stuff. Like you'd probably like this. It was a cute little twist on that classic tale. We have our main character, Gemma. She wants nothing more than to just bury herself in books and get a job. She doesn't want to get married. She doesn't want to get a husband. She's like freshly 18. Her older sisters are really pushing for her to get a husband. Everyone in her life is pushing for her to get a husband, and she just wants to work. She wants to be independent. She wants to go out on her own, and everyone's like, why would you do that? That's crazy. Nobody's ever going to want you if you do that. And she's like, then so be it. She ends up getting this job offer. So she's going out into the woods to claim said job offer when she gets attacked by wolves and then saved from the wolves by a Fey wolf. He ends up being King Elliot. Get her to give up her most prized possession or thing that she values most to him to help break this curse. And she's like, I'm not gonna do that. But what I will do is I will help you find a real love connection, because somebody who loves you will probably be willing to give anything up for you rather than just somebody out of fear. So she ends up moving in with him, kind of being his stewardess, helping like fix up the house, make him look more presentable, get him to form a relationship with somebody that she knows but doesn't care about. And obviously in a typical like Beauty and the Beast fashion, she starts to fall for him. He starts to fall for her. And it's very cute. It was very cheesy. It was very not groundbreaking, but it was fun. It was enjoyable. I read through it pretty fast. I found it really fast paced, really quick and easy. And I liked seeing just the differences because it wasn't a carbon copy of that classic like Beauty and the Beast Disney movie kind of tale. It definitely had some twists going on, some different things that aren't really related to the original. So I liked seeing kind of like what this did with the Beauty and the Beast retelling. And overall, I really enjoyed it. I don't think I could rate it more than like 3.5 or 3.75 stars because I wasn't like in love with it. But it was good. It was cute. It was enjoyable. And I'm excited to read the other 2. And then there's 2 more after that. I think there's 5 total. So I plan on diving into those. I think the Cinderella retelling is the 2nd book. So I'll be diving into that one in February. And I'm very much looking forward to it. My lashes are driving me crazy. Like this one applied perfectly. This one, not so much. This one might need to be redone. Sometimes you just gotta redo your lashes. I need to first put some more shimmer. Sometimes your lashes just don't want to cooperate, so I'm just gonna get some more glue while we talk about our 13th and final book of the month. And that was my surefire 5-star read of the month, Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. Again, part of the Throne of Glass series. I had a strong feeling this one would end up being my favorite thus far. Everybody I've talked to says that one's their favorite, and I wholeheartedly agree. I gobbled it up. It is like 650 pages and I read it in like 2 days. I read every second that I was free to read. I could not put it down. It was so good. It was fast paced. It was exciting. I loved seeing all these different storylines from the previous book kind of come together in this book. The adrenaline was pumping toward the end. Like I was so nervous. I was stressed. I am honestly really stressed to see what happens with the rest of these books because there's technically 3 more books. The next 2 take place at the exact same time, so I am going to tandem read them next month. That's my plan. And then we have Kingdom of Ash. So I'm like, what is going to go down? I'm so nervous. I'm so scared. I don't want my favorite characters to die. At this point, there's already been characters that I love that have died, and it's just so high stakes, so stressful. And I'm loving every second of it. It's so cool. And again, it's just so hard to even compare to the ACOTAR series because they're just such different vibes. Like they're basically not even comparable in my mind. It just kind of depends on what you want. Like, are you looking for romantasy or are you looking for like high stakes and death and all this exploration and all these characters and all this world building? Like, what are you looking for? I'm loving this though, and I cannot wait to get into the tandem read. I own Empire of Storm already. I need to go back to the store soon and see if Tower of Dawn is available yet because it wasn't when I went. But I do plan on tandem reading them. I'm gonna just look up a guide online and pre-mark where to switch off in the books and tackle that. It's gonna be a lot. I think between both books, it's around 1,400 pages. So it's gonna be a hefty feat, but I'm very, very excited about it. But again, yeah, 5 stars, easy. I loved every moment of it. It was so good. And I feel like overall I had a really good reading month. Like I really didn't read anything bad. Even my least favorite book wasn't a bad book. It just didn't measure up compared to some other things that I've read. But I'm really excited. I am posting a vlog, I think tomorrow actually. I think it'll be up when I don't know, it's just like a cozy vlog. Like I read, I have some cozy days, I work, I do a Meow box unboxing, but I also picked out my TBR for February, which is already arranged in my library. So if you're curious what I plan on reading in February, you can check out that vlog tomorrow. But I have so many books I'm excited to get into and I can't wait to share them with you. But I'm gonna finish fighting with this lash. I'm gonna throw on my lips and I'll be back when I'm complete. Thanks so much for watching my video and hanging out. This is how the final look turned out. I love how it came out. I got my lashes to cooperate, thankfully. In my lip combo today, I went with a little bit of True Love pencil from Lawless with my CoverGirl You're Just Jelly gloss over top. I just kind of wanted a sheer red lip. Thought it would be cute to kind of go with the Valentine's vibes a little bit. And overall, I really like it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you had fun just listening to me chat about books, playing with makeup, all the things. Again, I would love to hear your thoughts on these books. If you've read any of them, do you want to read any of them? What have you read lately that you love? If you made it to the end of this video, please leave some book emojis. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps my channel out a lot. And if you're not already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm battybean there as well. You can also subscribe. I'm posting most days over here. You can also join my channel memberships. Link to sign up will be down below. You'll get fun little perks, including a members only video once a month. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.